Today on Brilliance Business TV, we have the incredible Bruce H. Lipton. Bruce is an internationally recognised best-selling author and cellular biologist who has spent decades challenging scientific orthodoxy with a revolutionary message: genes don't control our destiny, our beliefs and environment do. Stay tuned. Welcome to Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler, and I am joined today with my incredible co-host, the incredible Stacey Hall. Let me tell you who Stacey is. Stacey is a 5 times global #1 best-selling author, TEDx speaker, sales success strategist, and creator of The Lighthouse Path, and featured expert in the award-winning Zero Limits movie. Welcome, Stacey, as my co-host today. We have the incredible Bruce Lipton as our guest today. I'm excited. Are you?
I am beyond that. I am enthralled. I'm delighted. I'm thrilled, and let's get to it.
We are beyond Darwin. Everyone will get that shortly. I'm going to bring in the incredible Dr. Bruce Lipton in one moment when I press the right button. Welcome, Bruce.
Oh, I am so excited to be with both of you because, as you are all aware, everybody's aware, looking out their window, watching the news, surfing the web, the whole planet is in a state of chaos. And it's not an accident. Something very important is happening right now that affects all of civilization. We are in a process of evolution. We have some belief, like a Darwinian thing, that evolution is over millions of years, but that belief is wrong. Stephen Jay Gould and Niles Eldredge came up with something called punctuated equilibrium, which says everything seems to be static and staying the same, and then some event, boom, and the world changes. Well, we are experiencing a radical change in process at this moment. So before I say anything, I need to say thank you, Mark. Thank you, Stacy. Why? Because you are very important people in changing the planet evolutionarily. Why? Because you're offering your audiences new knowledge, new information, and knowledge is power. You're empowering a civilization with your work. And I want to acknowledge that because that's how the evolution will occur. People will lift other people, and we're going to make a better world. And so, A, thank you for this invitation. And B, I want to thank our audience.
Yes.
Because the audience are the cultural creatives seeking answers not in the box, because there's no answers we want in the box. It's stepping outside. And since you're all here, we're looking for a better world.
The pleasure is all ours, Bruce. So we're going to do 10 minutes of our frequency section. We know you're in the new movie all about frequency, so this is our opportunity to really ask you just a few questions for 10 minutes around the amazing topic of frequency. So Stacey, over to you.
Well, thank you, Mark. And I'm going to say thank you, Bruce, because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if you weren't doing what you were doing first. And we got together and asked some folks, like, what would you love to ask Bruce? So here we go. What convinced you early on that there was this whole science of frequency? And we just would love to know the story. What made you decide to buck the system and start talking about it, putting it into practice in your own life, and then sharing it with the rest of us?
Well, bucking a system, I'm not. I was starting to understand the nature of quantum physics. When I was in the university, I didn't take quantum physics. I was a biology guy, and quantum physics was that course that, oh, that's so weird. And, I thought, I don't want to challenge my grade point average by taking a course that will blow my mind. So I took regular physics. But I have come to learn since then the most valid of all the sciences on this planet, the most valid and truthful is quantum physics. And as I started to get into it, I thought, oh my God, we're looking at the world through the wrong glasses, so to speak, because we grew up with a Newtonian perspective that the universe has two realms, matter and energy, as separate realms, that
Yes.
matter affects matter, energy affects energy, but in our discussion of Newtonian physics, matter and energy don't communicate. So, as a biology major, as a professor in a medical school, one of the important things is the body is made out of matter and it's not affected by invisible energy, which meant in conventional biology and medicine, consciousness and spirituality are not included in the curriculum. They're referred to as metaphysics, which means non-physics, and was left out. And then once I started to understand the nature of quantum physics, I said, "Oh my God, the whole idea of two realms, a physical and an energetic realm, is an illusion." I go, "What do you mean?" I said, "Because the ultimate discovery was we saw atoms as physical particles. And they started breaking atoms down. They saw smaller particles, protons, neutrons, electrons. Then they broke those down, quarks and femtons, all different kinds of little subatomic particles. But then they broke those down. And guess what they found? That the fundamental building block of an atom was a vortex of energy, like a nano tornado of spinning energy. That is the core of an atom. So an atom is made out of energy. And all of a sudden, I said, well, then, since matter is the structure of the material world, then the material world is an illusion because it's made out of atoms, which are energy. And all of a sudden, it says, oh my God, there's only one realm in the universe. Everything is energy. And energy has no border to it, meaning you can't say, here's a piece of energy, and here's a piece of energy, they don't talk to each other. Energy are like ripples on a pond. Imagine it's raining, all the ripples are forming from all the raindrops. If you look at that pond, you'll find all the ripples on the entire pond are all interconnected. Why? Because there is no separation of energy from one to another. From the Big Bang, one big massive energy explosion, came the universe. Everything in the universe came from the Big Bang. Everything in the universe is connected via energy. And then energy is mainly in our personal lives coming from the brain, which is an organ that is functioning by energy. And the energy of the brain is controlling not just the internal biology, but the energy of the brain is influencing our external reality. And all of a sudden it says,
Powerful.
whole foundation that people have of matter and energy as separate entities is a great illusion, but more so is problematic because if you leave out the energy, you left out what shapes the world we live in. I would give one quote if people were taking notes, one quote, Albert Einstein: "The field is the sole governing agency of the particle." Particles matter. So let's say it again. The field is the sole governing agency of matter. But the field is the invisible energy. All of us, you, me, we're in different parts of the world. We're all sitting in an energy field. Wherever you are, cell phone broadcast, radio broadcast, television broadcast, solar activity is an energy field. You're in an aquarium of energy, and it's a field. But we also know by putting wires on your head, your brain functions by generating different energy fields associated with consciousness. The problem is putting wires on your head is called electroencephalograph. It reads brain function. There's an illusion, and that is, oh, my thoughts are inside my head. There's another device that reads brain function. It's called magnetoencephalograph, MEG. I guess what's unique? The probe is out here, and I'm reading brain function. What does that mean? If I can read your brain function out here, then your consciousness and your thoughts are broadcast to the external world. You are a field generator. And I say, yeah, but go back to the quote. The field is the sole governing agency of matter. Oh my God, you didn't know it, but your thoughts are shaping your life experiences, not just the internal ones, but the external ones. Bottom line, and we'll get to it, but is this: we are not passive victims of a world. Each of us is a creator, creating our own personal lives by broadcasting energy fields of consciousness, which shape our life experiences, internal and external. And then to wrap that all up is, well, each of us is broadcasting a field. And I go, yeah. What if each of us, all of us, were broadcasting the same field, the same idea, the same belief? Then I say, then collectively we manifest what we call the life on earth. All of us are participating as creators, and therefore we have to understand this because we have been programmed to be victims. And if you understand that you are a creator, it changes the game.
Powerful, bro. That's so powerful. What do you think, Stacey?
Well, I've been at this man's feet learning for many years. And so I to hear it right here again, I don't think it can be said enough. What I love is that you were a pioneer at a time when people were very much doubting you, and
Ah, yeah,
now
yeah.
we're coming in droves to you and agree with you.
Well,
I
it
would
was
say
interesting because my research on the recognition of a new form of genetic control called epigenetics, which the public is just getting a hint of, it changes the whole foundational belief that we've been programmed with, the belief that genes control the character of our lives by genes turning on and off. And so I say, well, wait, what did we learn? That the genes control the character. And I say, yeah, did you pick them? The ones you have? I said, not that we know, even though I think we did. Uh, can you change them if you don't like your characteristics? I said, no. So as far as we know, we didn't pick them. We can't change them. And then add a belief that they turn on and off by themselves, meaning they are self-emergent. They make a decision. And I said, then what does that mean? I said, then we are victims of our heredity because our genes are making the decisions for the character of our life, and therefore we believe we were victims of our heredity. I say, and there's a consequence of the planet for this belief. I say, what? Victim means powerless. We have bought the belief I have no power over this biology. the genes control it. Well, that's 100% false, because the new science which my research was pioneering is science called epigenetics. I said, sounds like genetics. I said, epigenetics. I said, what's different? Epi means above. So what do we call skin? Epidermis. So why? Underneath the skin is a layer called dermis. And what's skin? Above dermis. Epidermis. What's epigenetics? Control epi, above the genes. And now once we find out, oh my God, our belief system, our consciousness is what controls our genes. If I believe I'm a victim, then by belief, I will manifest a genetic expression of victim.
Yes.
And all of a sudden it says, then your beliefs are not just random things running through your head. Huh? Your beliefs are being broadcast, magnetoencephalograph, and affecting the physical realm in which you live. And then I say, oh my God, each of us is a participant creator of the world in which we live. And that something called civilization is an expression of a large number of people sharing the same belief and then manifesting it. So the world is an expression of our collective belief. And I say,
Beautiful.
our programming, as more than 60% of our programming is disempowering, self sabotaging, and limiting. And therefore, the consequence of most people's lives is struggle, because our beliefs are sabotaging the power that we have.
Power of belief. I have to agree with that. And I love your words about connectedness. I'm all about oneness. We're all one. And also, I'm such a big quantum physics fan as well. And everyone out there has to have a look at the double split experiment on quantum physics. Very,
Yes.
very interesting. Now, Bruce, what is one common misconception people have about frequency, and what simple practical way can someone begin working with frequency more intentionally in daily life?
Well, the first thing is this: is the mind is controlling our life experiences. And when you heard me just say, I said the mind. That leads people to believe there is one mind. I go, that right away is the biggest problem. There are two minds that manifest our life experiences. The name conscious and subconscious. They have two different functions, and yet both of them shape the world in which we live. The conscious mind, which is the latest evolution of the nervous system, is right behind your forehead, called prefrontal cortex. It's the seat of your spirit and energy field, which I'd love to talk about. And the fact is, the conscious mind is creative and is the one that has your wishes and your desires. You know, I say, Stacy, tell me what you want from your life. And you would say, well, I want this and that. I go, that's a creative thought coming from the conscious mind. Okay. And I say, what about the subconscious mind? I go, that is a program mind. It's the equivalent of the hard drive in a computer. The brain is a computer. It's not like a computer. It is a massive computer beyond any computer that humans have developed outside of the brain. People have never fully grasped the power of this mind, and they want to take us away from that power, because if we believe there's no power, then we give up the control and somebody else now has the control. So the fact is this: what is the subconscious mind? A database. From what? Programs. Why? If you buy a brand new computer and there's no program, you can boot it up, but it won't do anything. You need to put the programs in first. So a human brain is booting up 3 months before you're born. The screen is up. But To use it, you download programs. So for the first 7 years, your brain is not functioning at the vibration, the higher level of consciousness. It's functioning below consciousness at a vibration called theta. Theta is characterized as imagination. I go, yes, children under 7 live in the real world and the imaginary world. They have imaginary friends. They have, that famous tea party. I go, what was that party? I said, well, you poured nothing into the cup, and then you drank nothing, and then you said, that was the best tea I ever had in my life. I go, imagination. So I said, yep, first 7 years, that's the character of children. But theta is hypnosis. I go, why is that important? First thing is this, there are rules to live in a family. There are more rules to live in a community. I say, you have to learn the rules to be a functional member. I say, how's an infant who can't read, can't even lift up the book, going to learn the rules? And I say, nature took care of that. Nature said, I'll put you in a state of hypnosis. All you have to do is observe. You'll download the rules. You'll observe your parents and see their behavior, and you will download that behavior. You'll watch your community, see their behavior, and you'll download their behavior. So the programs that are in the subconscious mind does not come from you. That's important. The programs in the subconscious mind came from observing other people. Point. If they didn't put your wishes and desires into their life, then you didn't download programs of wishes and desires. You just downloaded other people's programs, okay? That's the subconscious. So now I say, well, we can operate from the conscious creative mind, or we can operate from the programs in the subconscious mind. And then I tell you, here's the problem. It's all based on the power of the conscious mind. I go, the creative mind? I go, yes. I say, what is the issue? And here it is. This is, hello, world. This is it. I go, what is it? The conscious mind can do two different functions. I say, what? Look out your eyes. Pretend your body is a vehicle. Your conscious mind is looking out the windshield and driving you to your wishes and your desires, the conscious mind. Creative, cool, okay? Part 2, the conscious mind could think. I said, what's the difference? When we're paying attention, we're looking out at the world and participating in the world. When we're thinking, the conscious mind is not looking out, it's looking in. A thought is on the inside. So the moment you are thinking with your conscious mind, you are not paying attention to the world. You are inside with a thought. Well, what if you're driving in the car and all of a sudden you say, when I get to the store, I'm going to buy blah, blah, blah. I say, at that moment, you were thinking. I go, yeah. And I say, at that moment, your conscious mind was not driving the car because your conscious mind wasn't even looking out the window. Yeah, but the car was driving. I was at the right speed limit. I didn't hit anybody. Everything. I go, because, and this is the wake up moment, when you are thinking, the conscious mind's not looking out, your behavior is controlled by the subconscious mind, autopilot. It takes over the control. So when you were thinking about what you were going to do in the store, the autopilot, which knows how to drive the car because it's a program you taught it, the autopilot drives the car. You didn't have to pay any attention. You weren't even looking at the road anyway. So what was the point? When you're thinking, your life is not coming from the conscious wishes and desires, it's coming from the program. When you are thinking, you don't even see the program. Why? Because the program is expressing itself outwards and you're focusing inwards. You don't even see your own program. A simple story. I told her for 40 years, I can't think of a better one, but here it is.
Yeah.
You have a friend, you know your friend's behavior very, very well, and you happen to know your friend's parent. And one day you can see your friend has the same behavior as the parent. So you volunteer. You go, hey, Bill, you're just like your father. Back away from Bill. Why? Because I know what Bill's going to say, and you heard what Bill said anyway. I said, what Bill's going to say? Bill's going to say, how can you compare me to my father? I'm nothing like my father. And the point is, well, how come everybody in the world can see Bill behaves like his father, and Bill's saying, I'm not like my father? And the answer is simple. When Bill is playing the father's program that he downloaded before age 7, why is he playing it? Because he's not paying attention. He's inside. So whatever behavior is coming out, you can't see your own subconscious behavior because it only plays when you're not paying attention, when you're thinking. And I go, how much thinking? The answer is 95% of the day is the amount the average person is thinking. I say, what does that mean? It means that 95% of the day, your behavior is not coming from wishes and desires, conscious mind. 95% of the day, your programs are controlling your behavior. And then I add this fact. More than 60% of the programs in your subconscious are disempowering, self-sabotaging, and limiting your power. So I said, 60% of your life, you're sabotaging yourself. I go, yeah. Did you see it? No. Why? Because it was the program. Did other people see it? Yes. Did they respond to it? Yes. And I said, and where does that put you? Your life's not working. And then you look at the people around and you say, these people are interfering with my life. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. And my life isn't working because these people are interfering. And then I said, okay, correction. You broadcast a behavior that caused them to respond in a negative way. You didn't see you were even participating. You just saw they were the issues. You see yourself, I'm a victim. I go, hell no. You are a creator. You create the good. You create the bad. You just have to
I
own.
have I
Go,
have
Mark.
to say, Bruce, I have to say, yes, I've watched a lot of your work on the subconscious, and I've actually not only listened to your work, I've actually put it into action as well. So I've listened to audios as I'm sleeping because I know as you're falling to sleep, it goes into theta. I learned that from you, Bruce. I have also done Psyche as well, which I know you're a big advocate of as
Yes,
well, and hypnosis as well. I love a good hypnosis
yes.
session as well. So I've actually done a lot of work on the subconscious programming, Bruce. So I know how important it is you share that message. You know,
How,
Stacey,
Mark, let me ask you, now that you've done it, has your life changed in a different way?
I would say it's an ongoing journey, Bruce, and it's something I'm still doing. I'm always growing, always evolving, but I think you do have to look at some of your dark side and some of those old programs and really do that inner work. But my life is like a complete circle. It's completely different, Bruce.
All of
And
us. You see, we don't have just one program. We have thousands of programs. Some of them are good, 60% are not good. And then the issue is, well, when did you get programmed? I said, you were being programmed 3 months before you were born. You were programmed the
yes,
whole year from 0 to 1. You were programmed another whole year from 1 to 2. Tell me the program you got before you were born. Tell me the program you got that whole year from 0 to 1 or from 1 to 2. And the
and
answer is,
that's the thing.
I
People
can't tell
have
you the
bad
program. Why?
childhoods.
You have no consciousness. Now I give you the problem. The problem is this: you're running off of programs you have no consciousness of that you have these programs. And then comes the exciting part. 95% of your life is the program. So your life is a printout of your programs. So I say, if you want to know your programs, you don't have a memory of them, but you want to know them, look at your life. And I'll give you a simple insight. Number one, the things you like that come into your life, they come in because you have a program to acknowledge those things. But, and listen, wake up. The things you work hard at that you want, health, relationship, good job, you work hard and you put effort in it and you're stressing it and you're sweating. I'm working, I'm making, I'm gonna make, I'm working. Why are you working so hard for that destination? And the answer is simple. Your programs don't offer it. And you're trying to override the program with more work. Now, sometimes that can happen. Weight is a program. The weight setting of your body is a program. You say, but I want to lose weight. I go, okay. And you say, I'm going to go on a diet. And I say, how much effort are you going to put into that diet? The more effort you put into the diet, the more you have some influence. And then I'll tell you what, stop dieting and you will go right back to the set weight of your subconscious program. You want to change weight, you first have to change the program. Then the weight will change. Let me give, if people are taking notes, this is, to me, one of the most important points, and that is this. You ready? Okay? And that point is simply this: the function of the mind. Oh, yeah, what is it? And here it is: to make coherence between your beliefs and your reality. If you have a positive belief, the function of the mind is to manifest a positive experience. But if you have a negative belief, the function of the mind is to manifest a negative experience. And since 60% or more of our beliefs, which are programs, are disempowering and dysfunctional, then you can see why people's lives are a struggle. Are they struggling because they can't have the things they want? I go, no. They're struggling because their programs are preventing them from manifesting what they want. And as you brought up, Mark, if I can change the program, then I can change the character of my life. And you talked about there are three different ways you can change the program, but it's a process. A lot of people say, I'm going to give myself a good talking to change that behavior. And then I laugh because I say, who are you talking to? Well, I'm talking to the subconscious. I go, there's nobody in the subconscious. It's a hard drive. I go, so what's the point? If you think you can change the hard drive by talking to it, talk to your computer and tell me when the program changes. Oh, it's not. I go, that's why that's not a way to change the program. And it frustrates people because they believe if I just say and repeat this, I will have the program change. I go, not likely. Okay, I'm going over. If you give me 12 hours, I'll finish the whole story. But let's get to the next
But
question.
Bruce, I could listen to you all day. I would happily sit here for 12 hours because I really have put it into action, and I know the importance of actually going in with hypnosis or psyche, or even listening to the recordings as you sleep, because your mind then goes into the theta state and it records those new programs, and that's how you go deep into the subconscious, and it's a lot easier than trying to do it with conscious effort. So it's so
Oh,
powerful.
yeah.
What we're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
do, Bruce, we'll get Stacey to ask the next question. If we spend just 5 minutes on this question, because we really want to talk, and Stacey will stay with us now as well. We really
I
want to
hope
talk
so.
about the
And so,
Beyond Darwin book. So let Stacey ask this one question, and then we will switch to Beyond Darwin.
and,
Yes.
and I was going to say, whatever program got me into this studio with you and Bruce to be able
And
to,
me,
I
that's
like it.
definitely a
I'm
good
keeping that
program.
program.
Yes,
All right,
yes.
Bruce. All right. we've talked about things that you've proven and have been proven over and over again. Now looking into the future. And this goes back to the role that frequency, quantum physics, and the physics of frequency. What role do you see it playing in transforming this universe? And it doesn't matter in what field you want to tell us about, if there's a particular one you want to focus on or all of them. What are you expecting is going to change?
The whole idea is that we already mentioned the Einstein quote, which to me, you put that one in and the mind quote, you put those two together, and then you see the world through two quotes. One, the field is the sole generating force of the particle, the sole governing agency. A field. Then I say a mind is a field generator. Then I say, yeah, but the mind is operating from the programs, and therefore your life is just simply a manifestation of these programs. Well, that's very helpful, because if you can see your life and assess it, then you're going to know which programs you want to change. Then you have the power of self-consciousness, the ability several ways, and Mark brought up several ways, where I can rewrite it, which all of a sudden says I can move from victim to master. I am not a victim other than my program. But the idea is this: people control your program, and they control it mostly to take away your power. I say, why? We as people, the public, only has power in community, because that's when our own broadcasts are being shared by all the others, and the more people sharing the broadcast, the more powerful the energy field, and the field power will determine the manifestation, okay? But if I break community up, then the power gets broken up, and then the people have no power. So if you look at the world, look at what's happening. We separate people based on race. We separate people based on religion. We separate people based on gender. We separate people based on nationality. I said, what was the collective result? I say, 99% of us have no power. Why? Fractured. We're not in harmony anymore. We've been programmed not to express harmony. We've been programmed to perceive victim. I am a victim of the world. That means, and this is important for corporations. Why? If I'm a victim and a corporation offers me a resolution, first thing I'll ask is how much? How much do I have to pay for that resolution? And then you start to realize corporations take away our power and then charge us to try and get it back. Medicine has taken away your power because they say you're a victim of your genetics. I now believe I'm a victim, I'm powerless, and then I have to go back to medicine and say, how can I manage my life? And then they say, well, we have some drugs we can sell you. And all of a sudden, guess what? Now you are a customer to do what? Buy your power back. From who? The chemical manufacturers, called pharmaceutical. I say, are they helping me? I go, first of all, they weakened you by first telling you you need the drug. I'm a victim. You're a victim. You need my drug. Every 15 minutes on television here in the States, there's at least one advertisement from the pharmaceutical industry to say how you can get your power back. You got this problem, we have this drug. You got that problem, we have that drug. And they're selling all this. Are they selling you empowerment? No. They're selling you some idea that you can get your empowerment back through these drugs. No one wants to talk about it, but it's a fact of science, right? And the fact is this: in the US alone, over 300,000 people die from prescription drugs. I go, well,
Yep.
what about illegal drugs? I go, less than 100,000. Oh, but we have a war on illegal drugs. I go, yeah, but 3 times as many people are dying from the legal drugs, and you are
It doesn't make
ignoring it.
sense.
It's called, oh, that's the cost of doing medicine. I say, that's a damn expensive cost to do that. And medicine is not helping you. Medicine wants to fix the symptom, but it doesn't focus on the cause. Cancer symptom is a tumor. What's the process of medicine? Kill the tumor. I go, does that prevent cancer from coming? I go, no, it doesn't affect the source of cancer. It just affects the cells that already have the cancer. It's not helping you. Okay? So what's the point? As long as I can disempower you, I can make money. And the whole idea of disempowerment is to sell you things that you think you need at the cost of you paying for it when you're not making enough income to even survive in many cases. And all of a sudden you realize they're sucking the wealth out of 99% of the people to feed a very small percent. Elon Musk just became a trillionaire. I go, you don't even know how much a trillionaire is. You know it's big, right? Let me tell you how big it is. A billionaire is big, right? A trillionaire is 1,000 billionaires.
Oh,
Elon Musk has the power of 1,000 billionaires. I go, and the more money he makes, where's he getting it from? Us? I go, wait, a simple a chart, a pie chart. I say, this is all the resources of the planet. Then I say, 1% has more than half of that pie. That the remaining resources, less than half available, is now being fought over by 99% of the people because 1% has taken more than half. I say, and what's that going to do? It's going to create a dog-eat-dog, bite-your-neighbor world that we're living in of Charles Darwin's theory of competition, survival of the fittest. You want to survive? How are you going to do it? You have to be more fit. How do you become more fit? Take the money from the other guy. Now I'm more fit. And the issue is we're living in a highly competitive world because we believe there's not enough. And I say there was enough, but now that a small number of people have taken more than half of it, there's a lot less. And when there's a lot less, the competition is more severe. Ah!
I'm just thankful, Bruce, that people are waking up, and me and Stacey are all about collaboration and working together, and we've got great leaders like you. And your friend as well. I'd love to interview him, Greg Braden as well. I
Oh,
love
Greg
his
is
work too. Yeah.
a dear brother,
Um,
Greg Braden. And
yes,
Anita
his work's
Morikani.
fantastic.
Are you familiar with Anita Morikani?
I'll
Uh-oh.
have to research that. Stacey
Oh
might
my
know.
gosh. She wrote a book that will wake you up. It's called Dying to Be Me. She had cancer 4 years. Was it a misdiagnosis? Hell no. She lost so much weight that the lumps of cancer you could see through her skin. She had lumps of cancer. 4 years. And at the end of this 4 years, she was on a machine for breathing and helping her because she had so much cancer. And then she went into a coma, and her oncologist called her family and said, when the patient goes into a coma, it's right at the end. Your family member Anita is dying right now. You should come if you want to see her. She's dying. Anita had what we call an out of body experience. She separated her spirit from her physical and went into the spiritual realm and saw and learned so much information about how she became sick because of the stresses in her life. She also was given an opportunity to be out of her body, which was all filled with cancer. It wasn't even working. It was, and they said, you could stay here, out of body, in the spiritual realm, which was so peaceful. But she chose not to. I said, why? Because she saw her husband, Danny, who for the last 2 years had left his job to take care of his dying wife. And she saw him holding her, and she said, if I don't go back, Danny's going to get sick. So I'm going to go back. She woke up out of the coma, but now with the consciousness of what she experienced. And within 2 weeks, most all the cancer was gone. A couple more weeks,
Wow.
the doctor couldn't find it, and they were upset because they said, we know the cancer is in there. And they looked test after test, and she said, I don't have cancer anymore. I changed my consciousness. And I wanted to
Wow.
emphasize why it was important. Officially, she was on her deathbed at that moment. And she woke up, and within an hour or two, they took the machines off because she was able to support her own lifestyle. Within an hour or two,
Wow.
she
I'd
said,
love to interview her, Bruce.
what's that?
I'd love to have her on the show if you can
Oh,
connect us.
she's
That would be
fabulous.
amazing.
Anita Murjani. She is an excellent. I love it because one of the phrases she took away, which I love, is because here in the States, there's Las Vegas, which is like wild city. You know, you can do whatever you want. And the saying is, what happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. Whatever you did, you don't have to tell anybody, okay? But
Stacy lives in Las
That's where I'm
Vegas,
at right
Bruce.
now.
oh, well, that's the thing. And yet she changed that. She said, what she learns is what happens on earth stays on earth. It doesn't go back to the afterlife spiritual reality. And so
Wow.
it says, your life experiences, you came here for learning. If you learn, you leave here in a state of heaven on earth. If you don't learn, you will probably leave in some form of suffering because you didn't learn that you are the manifester of this life experience. But then again, you've been programmed by people who knew this not to exercise your power. Okay? And here's the point. 400 years, the Jesuits have told their followers a fact that their followers never understood. I said, here's what they told. They said, give me a boy until it is 7, and I will show you the man. What did they know that we now know? 7 years is the
Programming.
developmental programming period. So they said, if you give me that boy for the first 7 years, I will program it. And then what? 95% of your life is the program. So whatever the program is, that becomes your life. And that's what they said. Give me the boy until he's 7, I will show you the man. They were the first ones to know about programming. But their programming abilities are nothing compared to today's programming abilities. Why? If you see an infant with an iPad and the infant can hardly walk but is playing on the iPad, that, my friends, is programming. Is it
Yes.
good or bad?
It
Depends
depends
on the
what way
program.
you're using it, I suppose. Bruce, you can use it for good or for bad, but I think you have to be careful as well giving it children in the first place as well, because we have to look after our minds. It's so important. But Bruce, we've got about 5 minutes, and I want to talk about your new book.
Ah,
It's absolutely going to be incredible. It's called Beyond Darwin, and it launches in August. Beyond Darwin. Bruce, let's talk a little bit about this book, the inspiration behind it, what it's about. We're really intrigued about that.
well, I'm excited about it because I've known him for about 20 years, this story. But I kept looking at myself, well, who am I, Bruce, to write a story to challenge the great Charles Darwin? But finally it got to me and said, well, you have the modern science that Darwin never had. And the modern science challenges Darwin's point of view to make it, to realize this. The biggest problem on this planet is the theory of evolution by Charles Darwin. It has two functions, one of which we talked, that evolution is based on genes. And now we find out that's not true at all. Evolution is not based on genes. It's based on the nervous system. If it's based on genes as you believe, and you've been programmed to believe, then by definition, you have disempowered yourself because, as we said, genes control themselves and we don't control the genes. We then are a victim of the world. First belief is you've been programmed to be a victim. You have been programmed to be powerless over the control of your life. That is fundamental Darwinian theory. But the bigger problem of Darwinian theory is what is the summary of the theory in one sentence is survival of the fittest in the struggle for life. I go, okay, we have two big problems here. Number one, struggle for life. Where that idea that life is a struggle come from? I said, we're living it. I say, you're manifesting it. Life was not a struggle until we made it a struggle. I say, how did you make it a struggle? You've been programmed to believe there's not enough, and that to survive, you need more. And to survive, you need more, then you must compete and get more. More gives you survival. I go, oh, competition. I go, yes. I go, no. Evolution is not based on competition. Evolution is based on community. Emphasis. A garden, by definition, is a community. A garden, every organism in that garden, be it a bee, a worm, the sunlight, the environment, everything is in harmony. A garden is harmony. A garden is not a battleground, okay? A garden is community. Guess who's not part of the community? Humans! We have bought the belief that we are separate from that garden. I go, where? I say, the Bible. The Bible said Genesis. God created the planet and nature. And then God added the humans. Point. Belief. We didn't come from nature. We were added to nature. As what? Dominion over nature. That we, added by God, can control nature. It's like, that's a bunch of BS. That means belief system, okay? Belief system. And I go, why? Because we evolved from the garden. We are participants in a garden. If the garden is destroyed, we cannot live here either. There's no way you live without it. Then the first thing is recognize this, which the Native Americans, that was their belief system. They saw their world back in those days as a garden, and they saw their role as gardeners to take care of the environment. We have lost that. We have come the other way. Oh, we control the garden. We have dominion. We make it do. I go, how's that working out? We're destroying the environment. We polluted the air, the water, the soil. We have pillaged the resources out of Mother Earth. And in the process, we have actually are now causing the collapse of the web of life. This science that's new, and I'm mentioning it's science, not my new age belief here. No, folks, this is science. It says a simple fact that we must own, that today's civilization requires the resources from 1.6 planet Earth. I go, wait a minute. We only have one planet Earth. Oh, yeah. Well, we're getting 1.6. Where's the 0.6 coming from that we need for today's civilization? We're taking it from Mother Earth. I use this term. It's not a wonderful term because it has bad connotation, but in this connotation is accurate. We are raping the planet. We are raping Mother Earth. We are destroying her to get all the resources beyond what she would offer us, and in the process, undermining the web of life. So science has recognized as a fact that civilization as we know it will have, and I emphasize the word, irreversible collapse within the next 10 or 20 years. Why? We are not sustainable. We can't get those resources and destroy the environment in doing it because we are the environment. We evolved from the environment. If the environment goes, so do we. So there's a change. I said, what is it? Chaos all over the planet. Everybody went, oh, there's economic chaos, there's political chaos, there's racial, religious, even gender chaos. I go, you're focusing on all these individual fires, so to speak, but you're missing the big overall fire. Not sustainable. We can no longer do this. And within 10 or 20 years, there's a collapse. Well, you have two choices: go down with the collapse or get out of the system. And that's what we are facing at this moment. It says that our competition to get more is destroying the ground on which we walk, that we are destroying ourselves as a civilization, that we are destroying community. I go, why is that important? Community is harmony. A lack of community is disharmony. Well, look at the world. It's in a state of disharmony. We're not working toward a goal of positive. We're separating. And the separation is built on the belief that you're a victim. And in the Darwinian belief, the genetics part is victim, but the belief is summarized as survival of the fittest in the struggle for life. A garden is not a struggle. A garden is a community of harmony, no struggle. But we're destroying a garden. Why? Because we have been programmed that there's not enough. And when there's not enough, that means you have to compete to survive. And that's survival of the fittest. That's a competition. I go, and why is this important? Because number one, survival of the fittest. Let's get to an English word here called fit. Basic definition, F-I-T, fit, capable of surviving. Well, wait, they said survival of the fittest. I go, what does that mean? Well, I said, look, let's subdivide the world. Here are all the fit people, here. I said, yeah, some of them are just fit. Some are more fit. They're fitter. And then some of them are the most fit. They're the fittest. It didn't say survival of the fit. It said survival of the fittest. I go, what does that mean? Well, who cares about the fit? As long as I'm the fittest, I don't care about the fit. It's survival of me. That was Darwin's Victorian England. There was an upper class that described themselves as the fittest. There was a lower class that were capable of surviving. They were the feeder layer that supported the upper class. And the issue in that Victorian period, we don't need so many of the fit. you know, that was the belief that there's too many of them, we should get rid of them. The Darwinian theory is saying there's overpopulation of the what? Population of the fit. But they were capable of surviving. How you get rid of them? Disease. That was number one. It was suggested by Thomas Malthus, the philosopher that said there's a struggle, that if you build the homes for poor people in the swamp, they will get disease. He made a new word, slum. The slum. Build it, housing for the poor people in a bad area, and they will get disease and die. Famine. Not enough food. The winner is the one that can afford the food. Hey, tell me about that today. If you've ever been to the supermarket and start looking at how much money you spend every time you go to the supermarket. Why? Food is getting out of reach for the poor people. They can't afford.
Wow.
And I say, and you know what? They've been misled by this. Climate change. Oh, the water will melt from the ice, and around the coast, the water will come up and flood the coast cities. Big deal. They're not telling you what's the truth. I say, what? You cannot plan agriculture if you don't know what the weather is going to be. In the U.S. today, the breadbasket, the central U.S., Kansas was like the biggest source of wheat. There's no harvest this year. The weather was so off, the plants didn't grow. There's no wheat harvest. Oh, yeah? Well, wheat is part of bread. Wheat is part of all the food, different things. I say, it's cost a lot more today. Why? Because there isn't so much. That means the price of everything is going to go up based on wheat. I go, bread, price going to go up. All the things. I go, why is this important? If the price goes up, but the larger portion of the population is not making any more money, there's a problem coming. People will not be able to buy food. And you're going to see a revolution because when you starve people, they don't give a crap what happens to you anymore.
Oh,
There'll be a
yes.
rebellion, a revolution is in process, okay? The simple fact is this: we're not sustainable because we have to change the way we're living. I say, well, how are you going to change it? I say, well, the civilization has to change. I go, can you fix it? No. Why? It's broken. The foundation of our civilization is corrupt. It encourages the rich people over the poor people. And the rich people, being the fittest, say, I don't care about you. And I say, what's the problem? Mark, you're involved with business. Let me tell you something. In the world of competition, there is no morality in regard to activating that competition. If I can beat somebody and they get hurt, what the hell do I care? As long as I win, I don't care about them. And so most of the competition is costing the health and lives of the majority of the population because it's not supporting them. It's supporting the 1%. So all of a sudden I say, how can you win? I say, any damn way you can win is legal because no one says you should always win by being moral and humane in your effort. And I go, that's not part of the business model. Business models win at any cost. And therefore, I say, so now where are we? I say, we have a civilization based on a culture that can no longer sustain itself, that the stresses are getting higher. Interesting fact, there's a healthcare crisis on this planet. Oh, the genes are, its health is, the genes are causing a problem. Well, that's your program, but guess what? Less than 1% of all disease is due to genetics. 99% of disease is lifestyle and stress, with stress being the emphasis. And the stress is going up every day. The health crisis is getting worse every day. The more drugs, that didn't shut off the problem because the problem is not in the body, the problem is in the mind. The stress of trying to survive in a world that is not moral. They'll take your money and steal it and walk away and laugh. And the idea is, we have to change. So I go, well, the change is happening. What do you mean? I say, the world's in chaos. I go, why is that important? The structure of our civilization is falling apart in chaos. And I go, that's a really positive sign, except most people are looking at it in fear. Oh my God, it's falling apart. What are we going to do? I go, if it doesn't fall apart, your future is darker than anything you want to know about. You will not survive, okay? So the idea is this: what you are fearing is most importantly necessary. Why? We have to break the old civilization to
Yes.
build a new civilization. The
Yes.
futurist Buckminster Fuller told us the truth a long time ago. He said, don't go into the old system and try and fix it. Step outside of the system, build a new system, and the
Yes.
people will then come to you.
And the old one has to collapse. Bruce, you have overgiven today. We're past an hour. I could sit here all day. I just want to firstly say this book is going to be phenomenal. Beyond Darwin. This is released in August. Bruce has an amazing website, brucelipton.com, but also you'll be able to get Beyond Darwin at all good bookstores, Amazon, it will be all over. So, August, Beyond Darwin. I will make sure this interview is aired in August as well, Bruce, so that it comes out at the same time as the book launch as well. Just so many words of wisdom. I love how sometimes it's a bit like your own personal life. It has to collapse for it to build up better, and it's the same with these big systems. They need to collapse so better ones come in. But doing things from a
I
mind
want people,
nature, from the heart.
Mark, I want people to listen, the young people, because they perceive themselves as a hopeless situation. They got educated, they can't even get a job to support themselves. They feel left out of the system. I go, good, good. Yeah, because if you're not connected to the system, you are free to make a new system. And while they're
Yes.
thinking there are no jobs, I'm going to say the current jobs are going to collapse, the ones that have been destroying the planet. And there'll be all new jobs of maintaining the environment, creating harmony among the people, learning to live healthy. All these are new jobs. And those young people are going to have a great opportunity. They don't have to get to the end of the line of being the new guy on the old job because they can be the new guy on top of the new job. So I want the young people to know this. It looks hopeless? No. You are playing, if you're young, one of the most important jobs of civilization's future, and that is you will be the new workforce with a new job listing: maintenance of health, happiness, the planet. Can't get a better job than that. And I want to thank Mark, I want to thank Stacy for letting me have this opportunity. And want people to know that the book, Beyond Darwin, is a theory of evolution based on modern science, not Darwinian BS from a long time ago. It's modern science, and it's the science of personal empowerment. And so I want people
Love
to
it.
understand this book because I want the people to have the power. Why? I trust the people. I don't trust the government. I don't trust the corporation, and I sure as hell don't trust the media, which is paid for from the corporation. I want to trust the people because why? Almost all people have the same wishes and desires. Most of them want to have a happy life, a healthy life. They want to be protected. They want to be supported. They want a job. I say, if 99% of the people engage in the same wishes and desires, the concept of heaven on earth would not be a philosophy, it would be a manifestation. Why? Each of us who has taken our power back has tasted and touched heaven on earth. I'm not waiting to die to go to heaven. I'm going to enjoy every day of heaven on this planet that I have. And I hope people will see that and then start to take the hell we're experiencing and transform it into the heaven we can have.
Beautiful words, Bruce. Beautiful words. Let's save Mother Earth. Stacey, thank you so much for being my co-host today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Been a joy and a treat, and so the words cannot be said more often, and we will be sharing this recording, this interview over and over again, encouraging everyone to share it over and over and over again. Thank you, Mark, for inviting me. Bruce, thank you for our
The
conversation.
pleasure's been all ours.
And let me
Thank
thank
you
the
so much,
public.
Stacey.
Let me just thank the public who's
Yes, no,
watching
you go ahead,
because
Bruce.
the public, you are the power. Not if you fracture yourself into warring faction based on sex, based on religion, based on nationality. No, we are all one. We all came from the same energy source. We are all spirits in a body, and we are all one. And that's the evolution. The separation, disempowerment, the community power. Thank you.
Bruce, thank you so much for being my guest today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. Until next time, bye for now.
Thank you.